Welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Save a Library podcast. I am your host, Alex, and this week I am joined by the head of Teen Services, Marianne. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
And Tory from Title TBD.
Tory from Patron Services, where I have been and will continue to be.
Yes. Welcome, both of you. This is our Books We're Looking Forward to in 2025 episode, and I thought having the two of you on would be the perfect guests. So let's get into it. 2025 looks pretty promising, so let's just get right into it. Should we start with fiction or nonfiction? Or should we just go around in circles?
Let's go in a circle.
Yeah, let's go around in circles.
I got all fiction, baby.
All right, then I'll go first. So my first book that I'm looking forward to reading this year is a nonfiction book called These Strange New Minds, How AI Learned to Talk and What It Means by Christopher Summerfield. It comes out in March. He's a neuroscientist at Oxford. He's one of the pioneers of Google DeepMind. And this is, I believe, his first book, but it's kind of an exploration of LLMs, the large language models, how they were developed, how they actually work, and a little bit about what their applications are right now and what he thinks they can do in the future. So I love this topic. I'm very fascinated in what's going on in the world of AI, and I'm interested in seeing what one of the pioneers of AI has to think about what's going on right now. So this one looks pretty good. Looking forward to it. Again, it's called These Strange New Minds by Christopher Summerfield.
I'm sure we'll hear about it on a future podcast if you like it.
Yeah. True. If you don't hear about it in a future podcast, that means we haven't done a What Are You Into? Or I didn't like it.
Or you hated it.
I'm just going to do another one quickly because I think I chose more books than the two of you.
That's fair.
The other one is also nonfiction. It's a little bit different. This one is called The Extended Universe, How Disney Killed the Movies and Took Over the World by Vicky Osterweil. This one comes out in July, and it's basically a recounting of how Disney used their power and influence in politics and money throwing around to bust unions and win over legal battles to basically gobble up all the IP under the sun and have achieved pop culture dominance that we know of them today. So this is something, I'm a huge movie buff, and Disney just keeps eating up all of these franchises that I love, and yeah, I think this one's going to be interesting, and I want to know more about it. I want to know the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I would read that one. That one sounds good.
Yeah. I think I would too.
Disney fan, so yeah.
Maybe we can do a book club episode on it.
We should, yeah.
Yay!
All right.
I've been watching a lot of video essays about different media IPs that I enjoy, and Disney is frequently like a looming specter. Or there's also a movie podcast I listen to, even if it's not a Disney movie. Sometimes they creep into the story, so I'm very interested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're always there.
The shadow of the House of Mouse is always. We're always under the shadow.
Yeah. I don't mind being under the shadow of that mouse. So.
Hit or miss these days, but yeah.
That's why I've got to read this book.
I will say they did a good job with the Alien reboot, so far they're good in my book.
Well, they're also providing an extended slow death to the Muppets, so I'm not. We're at odds with each other.
And Star Wars. Yeah. Anyways, those are my first two picks.
We'd have a lot to talk about, I think, after reading that. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go next. My first book is a romance. People may remember me from the romance episode of our podcast. It's a genre I read a lot, even though I keep asking, do I actually like this? But my romance title this year that I'm looking forward to is called The Love Simulation by Etta Easton. It comes out in March. And the description of it, Brianna Rogers has been told she needs to stop jumping into things head first. But when the principal rescinds his approval for a library upgrade, she sees red, literally. Brianna throws her hat into the ring and joins a team of teachers who will spend their summer in a Mars simulation. As the sister of an astronaut, this should be easy, right? What she didn't count on was the last-minute addition to the team. Roman Major, science teacher, son of the principal, and too handsome for his own good. Roman and Brianna have been hot and cold all year, and living in close quarters intensifies their animosity and attraction. She's sure he's been sent by his father to sabotage them, foiling their chance at prize money that will cover all of the school's actual needs, but he proves to be a dedicated teammate, and she finds herself falling. While it's clear the feeling is mutual, she can't shake the sense that he's hiding something. As the simulation nears its end, Brianna realizes that she may have to make an impossible choice between the school she's dedicated herself to and the man who has won his way into her heart. So I'm looking forward to this.
I feel like I don't have to read the book now.
Yeah.
But you gotta find all... How does it end?
Mystery is?
Yeah. The author, Etta Easton, wrote one of my favorite romance books from last year that was called The Kiss Countdown, which was the main character of this new book is the sister of the man in that book. So you're a little bit...
Eastonverse.
The Eastonverse. So you're a little bit familiar with some of the characters in this one going in from if you've read the previous one. And I liked that book a lot. I was able to, as some people like to say, turn my brain off for it because the chemistry between the characters was so good. And the astronaut theme was really fun. She did a lot of fun things with it. So this is an interesting twist on it, them being in a Mars simulation competition. So I'm curious to see what she does with that.
Yeah, that's an interesting plot device.
Mm-hmm.
I was not seeing that coming from the rom-com, from what I'm familiar with rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be interesting.
A little bit of a twist on like a teacher rom-com.
So this would be considered a rom-com, or is it, because I know there's like some subcategories like what is it, romantasy?
Yeah, this is a traditional romance.
Yeah, they're not going to space. They're it's like a biodome
Science fiction.
Yes.
sort of thing.
Which doesn't sound like a thing that is real, but
It's
anything can happen in a book.
yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
Yeah.
It should be interesting because they're all like locked in a place together, so that should make ratchet up the tension and the romance.
And the romance.
Cool. Marianne, what do you got for us?
I'm going to start with the book that I'm the most excited about by one of my favorite authors, Wally Lamb. And his book that is coming out in May is called The River is Waiting. So that's coming out in May 6th. And Wally Lamb has also done some other really popular books. She's Come Undone, which I read 25 years ago and I loved. And then he wrote I Know This Much Is True, which is one of my top favorite books. And it's just amazing. Then he wrote another one called The Hour I First Believed, and then one called We Are Water. Those are his most popular books. So he does literary fiction, and this book is about Corby Ledbetter is struggling. New fatherhood, the loss of his job, and a growing secret addiction have thrown his marriage to his beloved Emily into a tailspin. And that's before he causes the tragedy that tears the family apart. Sentenced to prison, Corby struggles to survive life on the inside, where he bears witness to frightful acts. And one thing about Wally Lamb is that he works inside the prisons. I don't know if he still does, but he's like a writing instructor. He goes into the prisons. And so he has a lot of knowledge on that. So I think he might bring a really good story here. And all his other books were really great. As I don't remember a lot of them, except for I Know This Much Is True, which is one of my favorites. But according to my Goodreads, I've given most of them 5 stars. I just don't remember them because I read them like 20 to 25 years ago.
You have to trust your past self.
I trust, and I do. That's the one person I trust.
Trust the system.
But yeah, so that's the one I'm the most excited about.
Sounds
Wally
interesting.
Lamb,
What a
The River is
description.
Waiting.
Took a very dark turn at the end there. I was not seeing that. But,
And it had a couple dark turns at the beginning, too.
yeah.
Well, if you remember anything about me and any of the podcasts I've been in before, all of the books that I choose are usually really heavy and depressing.
That
So
reminds
that's
me,
consistent
and your
with
TV
today's.
shows as well.
Yes,
and
that
that
is
reminds
true.
me, I need to talk to you about The Last of Us later.
Oh, yes, because that's coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wally Lamb.
Add it to the book club list.
Yeah.
It's back to me. All right. So I want to talk about 2 biographies that are coming out next year. I don't read a lot of biographies.
This year. It's here.
Oh my gosh, it
True,
is.
it isn't next year.
Yeah, we are not recording this
Not
episode way ahead of the time.
2026.
We're firmly in 2025.
Yeah, wow. January is flying by. Okay, so these are 2 biographies that are coming out this year in 2025. The first one is Mark Twain by Ron Chernow. Ron Chernow is a famous historian.
Hamilton.
He writes these, he famously is most well known for the Hamilton biography, but he also wrote a fantastic one on George Washington and Ulysses S. Grant, which I read last year. That was one of those doorstop biographies. All of these books are huge, over 1,000 pages regularly, but they're all fantastic. He's a great writer. it's not dry at all. He really breathes life into history. And I'm looking forward to this one because I just read James last year. It was one of my favorite books of last year. So I'm kind of back in that Mark Twain kind of headspace, and I want to know more about him. I know he's led a very interesting life, and I'm interested in learning more about it. And Ron Chernow seems to be the person to do it. So I'm interested in that one. That one comes out in May. And in April of this year, one of my all-time favorite artists are Crumb. He's an underground comic artist. There's a biography coming out about him, and by Dan Nadel. He is a museum curator, so he's coming from kind of like the art background. And Robert Crumb's a pretty recluse guy. Not much is really known about him.
Is he still alive?
I think so. I don't know.
Unclear.
It's unclear. But he's extremely influential in the underground comic scene. So yeah, I'm dying to know more about him. I don't even know if he's alive. So yeah.
Hopefully they tell you in the book.
Yeah, I want to know more about him. All I know, there's an excellent documentary movie about him called Crumb that is like fantastic. It's in the Criterion Collection. It's like well regarded. That is excellent. But I think it ends with him like moving to Paris to be like away from away from his fans. Like he's just like one of those people. So hopefully this one digs in a little bit deeper than the documentary goes. So I'm looking forward to that. It's called Crumb, A Cartoonist's Life by Dan Nadel. It comes out in April.
Just to backtrack to your Mark Twain book, I am most likely going to end up reading that book this year as part of my ALA committee. So we'll have to discuss it after that because I also loved James, as we spoke about.
Yeah.
And James actually just won the Carnegie Award over the weekend.
Nice.
So it's like everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, very timely for Ron Chernow to pump out a 1,200-page biography on Mark Twain.
He saw that James was coming out last year and said, I gotta rush this.
Start. Yeah.
I gotta start.
Just churned out those 1,200
He started
pages.
November 1st and it's coming out.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of those. Maybe another potential book club. 1,200 pages to start now.
We'll just do a book club for all of these.
Yeah.
I hope it's a page turner.
I will go next. My next choice is a science fiction book. It's called Two Truths and a Lie by Cory O'Brien, and it's supposed to come out in March. And the description is, in a mostly underwater, near-future Los Angeles, aging combat drone veteran Orr View now lives a simple and small life, trading snippets of what's become the most valuable information. So when the cops show up at his door looking for data on a murder he's not even aware has happened, things get interesting for the first time in 25 years. At first, he's happy to barter for whatever he knows, but that plan goes to hell when his old boyfriend shows up as the number one suspect. Forced to stretch his atrophied spy skills, he finds himself in the crosshairs of the militarized police, a family of mega-rich corporate heirs, a clan of emancipated AIs, and a cult. But in a world where memories can be bought and sold, how can you truly know who anyone is, or what you yourself are capable of? Fast-paced, funny, and shockingly romantic, Two Truths and a Lie is Raymond Chandler reinvented for the 22nd century.
This seems right up my alley.
Yeah. The first note I have about it is just cyberpunk murder mystery.
Yeah.
Which is
Two of my favorite things.
Yeah. Same. And it sounds like I like a really good noir or a hard-boiled detective type mystery. But I also read a lot of sci-fi, so that since it incorporates both, I'm like, okay, they wrote this for me. But then there's humor and romance. I'm like, okay, it's got a little of everything. I'm just very intrigued, and I like a book about a robot. So the past couple of years, I did a lot of robot books.
Interesting. I always love when reviews say that, it's a humorous book because, humor is so subjective when you're reading. So I'll be curious if you do find it funny. Like, will you laugh out loud while you're reading it, or smirk?
I almost never laugh out loud. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is the
this will be the one that does it. Yeah.
I'm almost like does it need to have humor in it because it's got a lot going on.
That you like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when they say like, this book is a humorous book, it just means like the author has an interesting like perspective on things.
The slant is kind of
exactly,
askew.
which is like I love when authors are writing from a different viewpoint of myself. They just see things a little bit differently. Even that's like just a little bit of a tickle, to get me going through the book. So.
I did speak about last year on the podcast Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is another robot book. And that I would say, like, it was humorous, but it wasn't funny. Mm-hmm. But this, it does say funny. So I wonder if you are supposed to laugh. We'll find out.
It's not often that, like, I'm reading a book and I do laugh, but, like, I will smirk and, like, maybe chuckle every now and again. So.
Or give it a...
And I feel like it's rare to find that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll report back.
This is humorous. I did laugh out loud reading Simon Rich's book last year. Forgetting it. I mentioned it on my Best Of episode. Glory Days. He's hilarious. I actually laughed out loud a few times.
Were you supposed to have, like, it was intentionally funny?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not like a sicko.
Was that a fiction book?
Yeah, it was a collection of short stories. He's a writer on SNL, or was a writer on SNL.
Right.
So a lot of the short stories seem like they're like padded out SNL skits. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I could see that being funny.
Yeah, it's intentionally humorous.
Yeah. Yeah, because like when we're reading like memoirs, I think when you and I were on did we do like a humor one last year? And we both liked the Colin Jost book. Jost.
Yeah.
That his book that he came out with, like, I was laughing out loud with that. Like, those were really funny.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if this robot book can live up to Jost level humor.
Does this robot have a type 5? Am I gonna laugh?
Has he written on SNL? Was he one of the writers?
Gotta read it and find out. March 2025.
Have you read any Neil Stephenson? It seems like it's kind of up his alley.
Have I read? I don't think so, but I think I've intended to read Neil Stephenson.
Yeah. I have a recommendation for you as a starting point if you haven't.
Go for it.
It's Snow Crash. That's a good starting place for him. It sounds a lot like this book. Like it's a murder, there's a murder mystery kind of thing involved. It's cyberpunk. It's tons of stuff's going on, but it's also like very funny. Like he has a very funny take on the future.
I will take this recommendation.
All right. Cool. Marianne.
All right. So my next one is by Frieda McFadden, who's one of the hot authors right now. Yeah, and a lot of the library staff, we all read her books too and discuss. So she also pumps out a new book once or twice a year. So she's very prolific. This one is called The Tenant. And let's see. So this one starts with Blake Porter. She, or he, actually, I'm not sure. Oh, he, yes. Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as a VP of marketing and unable to make the mortgage payments on the new brownstone he shares with his fiancée, he's desperate to make ends meet. Enter Whitney, beautiful, charming, down to earth, and looking for a room to rent. She's exactly what Blake's looking for, or is she? Because something isn't quite right. The neighbors start treating Blake differently. The smell of decay permeates his house, no matter how hard he scrubs. Strange noises jar him awake in the middle of the night, and soon Blake fears someone knows his darkest secrets. Danger lives right at home, and by the time Blake realizes it, it will be far too late. The trap is already set. So this.
Wait a minute. That last line.
Which one? The trap is already set?
That came out of left field. I feel like after the rest of it. What trap?
Well, there must be a trap in there.
Wow.
Her writing is always like very gripping. There's always like revenge in there. Super page turner. I mean,
there was 4 plot twists in that description.
That's exactly how her books are, and
then there's a trap.
And then there's a trap at the very end. She, her formula seems to be the same in the majority of her books that I have read anyway. Is where she's got like a big plot twist, and then there's a couple more plot twists after that. So
it's a good template.
It is, because it works, and she's a very fast, easy writer to get through. Mindless too, when you just need something quick.
Popcorn books.
Is that what it's called?
I've heard people call it that.
Yeah. Okay.
Tasty, buttery popcorn books.
Yeah, that would be good to describe her then. Yeah. So when you most people could read her in like a day, and her audiobooks are always available on Hoopla if you're subscribing to Hoopla, which you should be.
List.
Yeah. So a lot of the times I will get the hard copy and then listen along, and I'll get through it like very quickly, because there's so much happening in her books You don't want to extend the book over too long.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't want to read another book like hers at the same time, because you will mix up. Because I have done that, where you mix up like what's happening in this book and the other one. But she right now is really big, and The Housemaid is one of her biggest series right now. There's, I think, 3 books right now, and they are making a movie that's coming out on Christmas Day. So I feel like her books are never on, like, very hard to keep on the shelves, very long holds for them.
Yeah.
So I expect this to be another one of her very hot books.
Yeah, go get them on Hoopla, though.
Right. Yeah, Hoopla for the audios. And we don't, through Sable, we do not have them that you could read through the browser or anything. But those would be on Libby. You could get those on Libby with very long waits, too.
Yeah. She's very hot right now.
She also has, that we just got in, like a recent release of hers. She wrote a parody of her own books.
Oh.
And it's called, like, the husband's, housemaid's,
Yes.
cousins, something, like.
I did see that.
when it came in, I looked at it and I thought it was a real. I was like, she titled it this, but it's a parody, and it's her like teasingly doing her own thing to the extreme.
Yeah.
Funny.
I've heard it's very
I'll
funny.
have to look for that. Well, I wanted to, like, I would love to go see her in person. Like, do you do book signings? But she doesn't. She doesn't do any, because she's just always, and it says it on her website when I looked, that she's just always busy pumping out a new book.
I have a number of graphic novels, but I'm just going to mention 2 this go around. So I order graphic novels for the adult floor, so I get kind of first peek at a lot of these. And these ones caught my eye. So the first one is called Tedward by Josh Pettinger. Comes out in March. It's the episodic story of the titular Tedward, a lovable loser who has a talent for getting into bad yet hilarious situations. That's basically all they give you, but the artwork is very vibrant. It's very cartoonish, like modern American style cartoons, very stylized in that way. But I love these kind of stories where it's sort of like anthology sort of style books, and it looks like it's going to be very funny just from like the impressions I'm getting from reviews and the artwork and everything. And he's been compared, this is his debut book, but reviews have compared him to Simon Hanselman and Daniel Clowes, 2 artists that I both really, really respect, especially Simon Hanselman. He does this same kind of style book, where it's just a bunch of friends and it's episodic, and most of the short stories are no more than 3 pages, but they're all like very, very, very funny, and they get kind of dark too. So I don't know, I'm kind of keeping this one on my radar. It could be good, it could be not, but it's definitely in my like wheelhouse of graphic novels I like. So I'm gonna check it out. It's called Tedward by Josh Pettinger. It comes out around March. And then the next one I want to mention is called Baby Blue by Bim Eriksson. Bim Eriksson is a Swedish graphic novelist, and you can kind of tell just from the style. I know that sounds weird, but it like does.
If we saw it, we'd probably.
It looks kind of like something you'd see maybe in like an IKEA store. Like it has kind of like that clean pen and ink style, like bold lines, very like monotone coloring sort of thing. But it looks beautiful. Like I love that kind of art style. But the story, it's kind of set in like a alternate future, sort of not super far advanced future, like a modern kind of futuristic time where like the state has kind of taken over, and it kind of monitors people's emotions, and it's sort of like this kind of dystopia sort of world. And from the reviews that I'm reading, it touches on themes of like mental health and queer identity and the dangers of like unchecked fascism. So I don't know, I think it could be touching on a lot of things that are relevant right now, and the art style looks good, and usually the art style is enough to get me to read through a graphic novel. So if the content matches the art style, I think this will be pretty high up on my list for the end of the year. So I'm going to check this one out, Baby Blue by Bim Eriksson. I don't have a release date on that, but if I had to guess, it would be the first half of the year. Check them out.
Sounds interesting.
Does sound good.
I'll also talk about some graphic novels. 'Cause I picked some of those that I'm looking forward to. This is a manga, and it's called A Star Brighter Than the Sun by Kazune Kawahara. It's about a girl named Sae who has always been taller and stronger than the average girl. Koki used to be smaller and weaker than the average boy, but now that he's in high school, he's tall and super popular. Will their childhood friendship rekindle and maybe develop into something more?
And
I want
a theme here.
Romance doesn't do much other than, will they? Or no? And the answer is yes. The description sounds super basic and very boring, but I'm looking forward to this because of the author, Kazune Kawahara, who has written some very classic series in the shoujo manga genre. She wrote High School Debut, which is about a tomboy who gets the cool boy at school to coach her into how to be attractive and find a boyfriend, and it's very funny and cute. And more recently, she wrote a story called My Love Story, which is about this big, kind of oafish teen boy, not traditionally attractive, who's best friends with a really hot guy. So anytime he's ever been interested in a girl, they'll always go for his best friend, who is uninterested in that. And then he meets a very shy girl who falls in love with him, and he doesn't know what to do with that because it's never happened to him before. And it's a very sweet story. So I really enjoyed both of those series by her that were pretty popular when they came out here. So it's nice to see a new release from her. Her stories always have a lot of heart and are really well done, even if the story is very simple. So this one doesn't have much to go on in the description, but I trust the author enough that I gotta check it out when it comes out.
Is it a standalone graphic novel or part of a series?
It's a series.
Okay. Oh yeah, manga, you said.
Yep. Okay. This is volume 1 coming out in March.
Is it like a collected volume, or is it like a comic book style?
So manga are always like in the little digest size, and it's a collection of chapters. So they'll have come out monthly in a magazine in Japan, and then they get collected into what's called a tankobon. And that happened years ago in Japan, but now it's coming out here.
Awesome.
I didn't know that. Let's learn something.
Do you know who publishes it? I gotta see
Viz.
Viz, okay.
Yes,
Is it? Would you say it's more teen or more adult? Like, if you were to put it in the library, where would you?
They're in high school, so it is for teens or about teens. Yeah, but adults can enjoy it too.
Great. Marianne.
Okay, I'm going to do a nonfiction book this time, and this one is called No More Tears, The Dark Secrets of Johnson & Johnson. So it's coming out in April, and obviously it's about the company, Johnson & Johnson. So it is described as an explosive, deeply reported expose of Johnson & Johnson, one of America's oldest and most trusted pharmaceutical brands. From an award-winning investigative journalist. His name is Gardiner Harris. It's a page-turning drama that raises life or death questions about the world's largest healthcare conglomerate. And that is a quote written by Jonathan Eig, the author of King, A Life, that came out last year. He's a really awesome writer there. So the description is this. One day in 2004, Gardiner Harris, the author, a pharmaceutical reporter for the New York Times, was early for a flight and sat down at an airport bar. He struck up a conversation with the woman on the bar stool next to him, who happened to be a drug sales rep for Johnson & Johnson. Her horrific story about unethical sale practices and the devastating impact they'd had on her family fundamentally changed the nature of how Harris would cover the company and the entire pharmaceutical industry for the Times. His subsequent investigations and ongoing research since that very first conversation have led to this book, a blistering expose of a trusted American institution and the largest healthcare conglomerate in the world. Filled with shocking and infuriating but utterly necessary revelations, No More Tears is a landmark work of investigative journalism that lays bare the deeply rooted corruption behind the image of babies bathing with a smile. So, I do like all my dark books.
I'm depressed.
I know, right? Because I think all of us, when we were kids, there was always like the Johnson & Johnson products, right? Like your No More
wash
Tears
my baby with Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Baby
So when
shampoo.
I had my first son, I started learning more about it because, let's use Johnson & Johnson, right? They have that great reputation. But then I started... It was like around the same time that Honest shampoo came out, and that brand by Jessica Alba. And then I started learning about, Johnson & Johnson's products, like that shampoo specifically, is not good for babies. And then I started kind of like researching further, and it was around that same time too that like there was a case going on where a woman was suing because she got cervical cancer by using the Johnson & Johnson's powder. So this is coming out in April, and it is high on my nonfiction list right now.
Yeah, I remember ordering this for the library, so
good.
we definitely will be getting it in. And I remember being as depressed as ordering it when I read the description then as I am now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I may have to read this one because it is obviously going to affect my life. And very, very scary stuff.
So in 2025, we're taking down Disney and we're taking down Johnson & Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Who's next? Okay, I have a couple more graphic novels. I'm going to try to turn it around a little bit. So the first one is actually a series. This may have even been a webcomic that they're finally binding into like a graphic novel form. I'm not quite sure about that. But the series is called Tongues by Anders Nilsen. It's actually the 10th anniversary since its initial release, but it won a bunch of awards, and it's now getting like a official re-release like for its 10th anniversary. But it's the retelling of the Greek myth Prometheus, and it's set in Central Asia, and it follows sort of the captive god's pursuit and revenge against the gods that imprisoned him, and meanwhile he has this friendship with an eagle that is tasked with torturing him every day by the gods and everything. So it's got like this whole kind of like Greek mythology set in the modern times sort of thing going on, but it also touches on a lot of like modern problems that are going on in like Central Asia, namely like the fight for like resources there and oil drilling and all kinds of stuff. So it's described as like an adventure story and also like a meditation on human nature and kind of all the fraught things that are happening currently in the world. So it's like I said, it's won tons and tons of awards. The author Nilsen, he's won the Ignatz Award, which is achievement for a comic artist, independent comic artist. He's won it multiple times. I've been hearing about this series for a long time, so I'm happy to finally have a chance to read it. I think it comes out in early first quarter of this year, maybe this spring. But I think it's going to be multiple volumes. But volume 1 comes out this year. So check it out. Tongues by Anders Nilsen. Then the next one I want to talk about really quickly is Canon by Lee Lai. So I mentioned Lee Lai actually last year twice in my our graphic novels episode that we did. And again, I think in the best ofs. Lee Lai is an award-winning graphic novelist. She wrote Stone Fruit, which is my favorite of hers, which is the one I mentioned in those episodes. But this is a follow-up to Stone Fruit, but it also seems to be basically centered around a lot of the same themes, where it's like two best friends, Canon and Trish. They're both queer women who are horror film buffs, and as they're kind of drifting towards 30, they're starting to like panic and feel the anxieties of what they're supposed to be doing with their lives, where they kind of fit in and all this stuff. And then I guess the kind of cataclysmic moment that kind of starts off the novel is Canon, the character, has a nervous breakdown and basically destroys the restaurant that she works at, and that kind of sets things into motion of like her friend coming in to console her, and all these starts a chain of events of them trying to discover themselves. So this one I'm looking forward to. I love Lee Lai's art style. Stone Fruit was great. So this one I'm expecting to be pretty good. So we'll see. It's called Canon, Cannon, by Lee Lai.
Well, that sounds good.
It does sound good.
Yeah.
Alex is bringing good picks.
Yeah, good picks. I think everyone's bringing good picks.
Got one more good one. I'm saving for the end.
Oh, wow.
And then the rest of them are not good?
All the rest are garbage.
So he's not bringing good picks. I'll talk about another manga that I'm looking forward to coming out. It's called The Climber by Shinichi Sakamoto. It's supposed to come out in April. The description is, Buntaro Mori is a loner, but being alone in a crowd is almost as bad as being forced to fit in. When a dangerous bid for solitude introduces Mori to the rush of solo climbing, he becomes addicted to the brilliant sense of freedom he finds as he pits his body and soul against the heights. But how high does he have to climb to leave humanity behind? I read another description of this where it specified he's a high school student, real loner, and I guess gets picked on sometimes for that. And somebody challenges him to climb to the top of the school. I'm guessing not using the stairs, maybe using the face of the school. And he does it and gets such a rush from it that he seeks out like becoming a climber as the sport, climbing. And the series follows him from high school through adulthood as he goes on this journey to climb a real mountain, and then, progressively more and more until eventually his goal is to climb K2, which I think is like one of the tallest mountains that is climbable. And there's a lot of manga where they pick like a very specific sport or activity, and then you follow
as a metaphor for life.
Yeah, I guess so. And this is one of the more interesting ones that I've seen, especially with the framework of like, he's doing it because he wants to be alone, not because he wants to like be the best at a sport. This is not a sport where you can be the best. So I'm interested to see what that's all about. I think there has been a lot of anticipation for this because the series originally was written in 2007, and people have been waiting for it to get released in English until now, and it finally is. So the art looks beautiful from the cover, but I'm interested in this.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
I've never read anything by this author, so just jumping into something new.
All right, Marianne, you got one more for us?
I do. I have another heavy nonfiction, a memoir this time. This one is by Kelsey Grammer.
Ooh.
Alex is
I
interested.
perked up.
Oh, really?
I actually like Kelsey Grammer, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I'm a big Frasier head.
That's what I was going to say. Well known from Cheers
Not as
and
big
Frasier.
as Frasier's head, though. He's got a big head.
He does
Wow.
have a big head, yeah. All right, that's how it is. So he's coming out with a memoir in May, and it is called Karen, A Brother Remembers. I don't know if you know, his sister was murdered back when Kelsey was 20. So Grammer, a 5-time Emmy-winning actor, writes a memoir about his life in the wake of the violent death of his sister, who was kidnapped, raped, and murdered when she was 18. He discusses how that event affected him and his family and how he began a long path towards healing from such nightmare events. So he had like a really rough childhood because when he was young, I think he was 13 years old, his father was murdered.
Oh my God.
So, see, I always bring in the heavy stuff. I'm sorry. He lost his father, who was shot and killed in St. Thomas in the Caribbean by a man who was trespassing on his property when Kelsey was just 13. So he's been through a lot. So he does say that it's not a grief book, it's a life book, a celebration of Karen's life. He wanted to tell Karen's story and at the same time including a bit about his own life, his life with his sister. It's an unflinching account, raw and punctuated with horror. So I don't have much else to say, but if you're looking for a nice heavy memoir, this is the one for you. If you're a Frasier fan or a Cheers fan, read this, but only if you like something really heavy.
I can't believe he has two murdered family members.
Can I add something else
Coincidence?
to like his horrible life? When he was 25, his two half-brothers, Billy and Stephen Grammer, died in a suspected shark attack.
Oh, it's like a Frieda McFadden with the twists coming.
I might read this one too now. Like, how can somebody who's done 30 years... I read the other day that he did like over 500 episodes on TV playing the role of Frasier Crane. And it's just like, how can somebody so prolific, because he was writing for Frasier too, have such a tragic life? Oh my gosh.
And his focus was like comedy. I mean, he's a really funny guy. So, how do you turn that whole life around?
They do say comedy plus tragedy equals time, or...
So this is going to be a hilarious book.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, my last book I'm looking forward to, I saved the best for last. This is the one I'm most looking forward to this year. It is the new book by Karen Russell, The Antidote. Karen Russell is a Pulitzer finalist. She is the best-selling author of one of my all-time favorite books, Swamplandia, which I think I might have mentioned on a previous episode, maybe the humor one. But this next book is set in the Dust Bowl, and it's supposedly like an epic about 5 characters, which include a prairie witch, a talking scarecrow, and a photographer with a time-traveling camera, whose fates become entangled after the dust storm ravages their small Nebraskan town. That's all I got about it. That's all I want to know about it. That's actually more than I wanted to know.
It's quite a cast.
Just knowing Karen Russell's writing style and her sense of humor, this book is going to be just right up my alley. I cannot wait for this one. She has a very interesting sense of humor, I wouldn't say it to laugh out loud, but like she paints a very, very interesting and cool setting for her characters that are always a little bit larger than life in a very entertaining way. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. This one seems maybe a little bit more serious, I know, despite like the Prairie Witch and everything that I just told you about, than Swamplandia. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Publishers have called it a reckoning with our nation's forgetting, echoing with echoing with urgent warnings of our climate emergency. So I don't know what to expect about this one, other than I'm pretty sure I'll like it. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think
is it taking place during the Dust Bowl? Like, is this historical?
I think it takes place during the Dust Bowl, yeah.
So it's historical, but it's got like some of the current climate issues in it. Is that correct?
I think it's kind of like a warning for the future. I don't know. From the description, it sounds like it's like her take on Wizard of Oz.
It does sound a lot like that.
Similar to that.
Which is cool. Like I would be all for that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I love her as a writer, and Swamplandia again is one of my favorites, and this one sounds very interesting to me.
Some books, it's more fun to go into it with like minimal knowledge of what's going to happen. Anything.
True. So you could be like, nicely surprised. I have heard of Swamplandia, never read it, but this one does sound really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it comes out around April. That's my last book of 2025 that has a confirmed release date that I'm looking forward to. And I will mention as a possible release date in 2025. Nothing's been said. I doubt it will come out, but Jonathan Franzen has his last book was in 2021, Crossroads, which he said was part of a trilogy. So it's been 4 years since Crossroads. I'm waiting for book 2 of this trilogy.
We're on Franzen watch.
Yeah, but he's, renowned for taking his sweet time in between books. So maybe we'll get it, maybe not, but I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I got for this episode.
I'm glad I saved this one for last because I also have minimal details about it, which is what made me interested in it. It is a romantasy. It's called Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, and it's supposed to come out in May. The only description that I have for it, that anyone seems to have for it, is a swoon-worthy, spicy romantic fantasy filled with legends and monsters. The Witcher meets Cinderella. A princess is chosen to fulfill the terms of an ancient treaty and finds herself traveling with an infamous monster slayer. So what?
I like
Sounds
that
like
monster
The Witcher
slayer
to me,
part.
yeah.
The Witcher plus Cinderella was such an odd combination of references.
That is very intriguing.
Yeah, and the fact that there was no more details, just this is what it's going to be. I read romantasy when I can make myself get into it. Like I'm critical of romance. I'm really critical of romantasy, but I will read them. So this one will be at least one that I read this year and see if I continue from there.
Seems like a pretty straightforward plot to me.
Yeah, The Witcher.
Well, he's probably rescuing somebody from a monster, and Cinderella is somebody who needs to be rescued as well, so there you go.
I think Alex figured it out.
Boom.
Maybe I don't even need to read it.
I bet it ends with them falling in love.
Oh, well, I mean, there's your romantasy
There's
right
your
there.
romantasy.
Yeah.
We'll see. If they had written any more about it, I might have ignored it, but because they left it at that.
So what drew you to this one in particular?
I think I saw it in one of the journals that we look through to order. The cover was nice, and then the description with The Witcher and Cinderella, I thought, And then when I was preparing for this, I was looking through to try to find some different genres, and I was like, well, but what is it about? Why did I want to read it? Because I not only had looked at it in the journal, but I marked it as to read. Yeah, the mystery of it all.
All right, there you go.
And that's Shield of Sparrows.
All right, my final book is by Gillian McAllister, who is known for her books called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. So her newest one is coming out in February, and it's called Famous Last Words. Waking up one early summer morning and finding her husband, Luke, gone, Camilla proceeds to get their daughter Polly ready for her first day of preschool. Arriving at the literary agency where she works, Camilla tries to reach Luke in between dealing with all the tasks that have accumulated while she was on maternity leave. Later that morning, while Cam is watching a breaking news piece on the television in reception, 2 police officers enter the office and ask to speak with her. Cam is about to find out exactly why she hasn't been able to reach Luke. I feel like this description doesn't tell you very much. But I think it is going to be she's a very clever author. There's usually a twist, suspenseful. So, if you liked her previous stuff, you're going to want to read this one. And that's all I have, Alex.
I want to know what the dad did.
Well, we have to read the book and find out.
Because I thought it was going to be the wife, because she wasn't there when he woke up.
No, it's always the husband.
All right, I think that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for sharing your 2025 TBR list. I look forward to checking out a lot of these picks. These are really good. I'm adding them all to my Storygraph account right now.
Into our book club list.
Yes, I really do want to do some book clubs going up this year.
I think that's a great idea.
We can find some overlap and get together.
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you both for making the time to come out and share your lists. And listeners, we'll see you next time.
Between the Shelves.